Hey there, happy Wednesday from snowy Washington, D.C. Wanted to jump on here quickly and talk about something that doesn't get talked about enough by entrepreneurs. And that's this. Look, I get it. The legal stuff sucks. Dealing with lawyers isn't fun. It's not something that you get excited about because, let's be honest, lawyers tend to be boring, annoying, holier than thou. They talk in language that's really annoying. And so a lot of entrepreneurs ignore the stuff and just don't do it. But here's the thing. That's actually not a solution. You can't do that in the long term. And I wanted to talk to you about that today. But first, I wanted to introduce myself. If you don't know me, I'm Bobby Klink. I'm the founder of Your Online Genius. I'm an attorney and an online entrepreneur. And I'm trying to give lawyers a better name. I try to be fun. I try to be lighthearted. I make fun of lawyers. I tell you that we generally suck. We're expensive, all those things to try to, make you be willing to listen to this stuff. But my message today is that you can't just ignore your legal stuff and say, I'll deal with it later. That's the approach that I hear from a lot of entrepreneurs. And again, I get it. The legal stuff isn't fun. It's not sexy. It's not the stuff that you started your business to deal with because it's just not the stuff you want to deal with. It's kind of like death and taxes. It's there, but not something you probably want to think about. But taking the approach of simply ignoring it is not something you can do for the long term. Here, look, I'll be honest with you. If you're running just a small, kind of hobby side business, and that's where you want to keep things. I don't want to say you shouldn't worry about the legal. You should. But the good news is if you make a legal mistake in that kind of business, it's probably not going to be the end of the world, right? Because, you could close up shop or who knows. But as you build your business, as you try to grow, as you try to create some kind of product offering that's scalable, that's not all about you and your time, the legal risk that's going to come up is going to grow. And it's going to grow because you're going to be serving more people. You're going to be getting out there more. You're going to be doing all of these things that just kind of multiply the risk. And if that's what you want for your business, waiting till later to deal with the legal stuff isn't a good solution. What you need to do is set up the basic foundation to start with. When you set that basic foundation up at the beginning, guess what? When you grow, when you scale, when you do all of those things later, it's not a problem because you've already got your foundation set. Now, it doesn't mean you can just ignore it later. You're still going to have to deal with it from time to time, but you'll basically have it done. And so you won't have to spend too much time working on it. But that's not what most entrepreneurs do. What most entrepreneurs do is go like this. I don't want to see it. I don't want to know about it. I don't want to hear about it. Don't tell me about it. I'll just pretend it's not there. I call it the ostrich approach, putting your head in the sand and just ignoring it. That's pretty much the worst approach to take. And the reason why is legal problems aren't problems that are going to go away. If you're making legal mistakes now, what's going to tend to happen is they're going to fester and they're going to get worse and they're going to become a bigger and bigger and bigger deal over time. And I hear people talk about this in a lot of contexts, like, let's say you have a partnership with someone, but you don't have a written agreement, or you have, some kind of business relationship and you don't have a written agreement. People don't want to deal with it because it's not something, dealing with it isn't fun. And especially if you've been going without for a long time, having those conversations isn't fun. Guess what? The longer you wait, the harder it gets. We've all done things like that outside the legal context, right? We've all dealt with, things where we think about, oh, well, maybe I could do this or, I made this mistake, but maybe everybody will forget about it. And we just kind of take that approach and we don't want to tell anybody and we don't want to tell anybody. And then it gets built up in our head and it gets worse and worse and worse. That's kind of how the legal is. And realistically, if you're just ignoring it, what's going to happen is you're going to get blindsided by it. You're going to get blindsided by it sometime in the future, and it's going to be a time when it's in crisis mode. It's not going to be a time when you can deal with it in an orderly fashion where you can kind of take your time and deal with stuff. One of the examples I like to give people is with searching trademarks for your name. And this is something, and just so you know, I don't even offer this service. So don't think I'm saying this because I want you to hire me. You can't hire me to do trademark work for you. I'll give you a name if you need it, but I like to use it because it's a perfect example. Trademark protects your name, your brand, anything that kind of identifies a product or who produced a product or a service. And so the way it works generally is the first person to use a name commercially is the only one who can use that name in that kind of field. Now, if someone has a coffee shop with the same name as my online legal business, not a problem. But if you're in the same general space and people might be confused by you having the same name, you can't use it if you're the second one. But a lot of people don't do the work of searching for it. Early on, before you've launched your business, it's really easy. There you do a search, and if someone else is using the name or anything close, you just pick a different name. I know it sucks. You probably love that name you came up with. Guess what? You'll come up with another good one. You will. Don't worry about it. Now, if you've started your business already and have used a name and haven't heard a peep from anybody, and then you run a trademark search and you find that someone else already has the rights to that name. Let's say they've done what's called registering a trademark for that name, which is getting national protection. Okay, if they've already done that, you need to change your name. And you can do it, and it's not going to be as much fun as if you'd done the search initially, right? Because, you're going to have to do some rebranding. You're going to have to tell some people, but you can kind of do it in an orderly fashion and not make it seem like a crisis, not have it be a problem. You can, come up with a reason why you're going to do it, come up with a new name, tell your followers, tell your customers, and just kind of transition in an orderly fashion. Again, not as good as if you'd done it at the beginning, but not the worst thing in the world. Now then, what will end up happening is if you don't do this work ever, eventually the person who owns that trademark, they're going to come and they're going to write you a letter from someone like me, but not nearly as warm and cuddly, someone who's really mean, and is going to write you a letter and basically demand that you stop using the name today, not tomorrow, and you've got to do it, and you've got to take all of your stuff down, and you got to rebrand, boom, like that. It's not going to be an orderly process. It's going to be a crisis. You're going to come crying to me or someone like me, and I'm going to tell you, not much I can do. You got to change your name, and you got to do it right away. And so you can kind of see that's much worse than finding out on your own and making the change in an orderly process. So I like the trademark example because it gives you a sense of, hey, the longer you wait on this stuff, the worse it's going to get. If you deal with it today, it's better than dealing with it tomorrow. I would have liked you to have dealt with it yesterday, but let's go ahead and do it. And so that's a general guide I like to give people, but it applies to everything in your business, to thinking through, hey, do I have written agreements in place with all the important people? Hey, have I set up a corporation so that I've got some protection of my personal assets? Hey, do I know what I need to know about things like trademark or copyright, which covers content, which might relate to, can you use images? Can you use videos? Things like that. So understanding all of those things, the sooner you get some general knowledge about it, the better. And it'll be better because you can then avoid the problems. You can diffuse ones that are already there. And then as you're making decisions going forward, you're going to be set, and you'll be able to set your business up for the long term and have it ready to go so you're on solid foundation. So that's my message to you today. You can't put it off. The sooner you deal with the stuff, the better. Don't feel bad if you're further along and you haven't done it yet. Well, just deal with it now. But the point is, do it now. It needs to be high up there on your list to just get this stuff done. And the good news is, once it's done, you're in kind of maintenance mode. It's not that hard to keep up with it. You'll just be kind of ticking off the box. And it doesn't have to be painful, and you don't have to deal with a pain in the ass lawyer, because nobody wants to do that. The first step, in my view, is you need to understand the legal issues that apply to your business. Good news for you. If you want to do that, I have a completely free training portal. It's called the Online Genius Academy. It's got like 30 plus videos, used to be paid resources. I'll tell you, most other lawyers would charge you for this stuff. I don't want to charge you. I think you ought to be able to know the legal issues that affect you as an entrepreneur for free. So you can join that absolutely free and start the process of understanding what you need to do. You can join there by going to youronlinegenius.com/academy. And like I said, what it kind of does is it walks you through a lot of these key areas you need to deal with. And just so you know, on a lot of them, I don't offer services. So I'm not, doing this to try to get you to buy something from me. I'm doing it because I want you to understand the legal stuff. Now, I'll be honest, there is some stuff in there that, if you had a need, you could hire me to help you with, like getting written agreements in place. I say hire me. I don't want you to hire me. I want you to buy some templates and do it yourself. But, there's some stuff that relates to that. But most of this stuff I'm giving you because I just want you to know it. And I believe that you as an entrepreneur should know it. So again, my call to action to you today, join the Online Genius Academy by going to youronlinegenius.com/academy and start to understand the legal stuff that applies to your business. And then you will be ready to take action. And then you take the action, you get the stuff in place, and you'll be much better off and ready to scale your business, grow it big, and make it huge. So that's what I got for you today. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you're not having, we've got a snow day here in Washington, which means I've got a lot going on in my house, my wife, my daughter, a lot of activity out there. So I'm going to go and actually try to spend a little bit of today with my daughter and have some fun. I hope you have something fun planned as well. I'll be back here on Friday talking about some mindset issues, and then I'll be back here again next week. So talk to you later.